This report is brought to you by Pantania's Sail and Power Insurance.
No matter what sort of boat you have, whether it's a large power boat, a small yacht, a regular production vessel, give us a call at Pantania's and we'll do our best to satisfy your needs.
I was a couple of days out to the start of the Hobart race with Jim Cooney, who is the owner of Comanche, the 100-foot absolute Super Maxi, the big girl as they know in the classics. Jim, you've had it for a year. What have you learned?
We've learned an enormous amount compared to this time last year when we had the boat for 4 days. So 12 months is a long time to get to know the boat. The last 6 months during the Blue Water Series, from when we started the Southport race until now, I think we've had about 70 or 80 sailing days and a lot of work on the boat, so with the full crew here. So we're really very, very comfortable with the boat now and understanding it a lot better and how it performs and how to get the best out of it. So I think we're in good shape now.
Is it a love affair?
Oh, it is. It's a fantastic boat. I mean, it's a machine, and it's exciting whenever you take it out. It's always a great experience on this boat, and it's just a fantastic thing to be a part of. Really, very exciting.
So have you had a program to fix it, or to do extra things to it rather?
Well, there's a few things that we did. We powered the winches, took the grinders off and put hydraulic motors in all the winches, which brings us in line with all the other hundreds. It allows us to take some weight off the boat, reduce the crew numbers a bit, but importantly we can trim quite aggressively, whereas before the time it takes to get 6 guys off the rail and onto the grinders, the opportunity might have gone. So now with finger touch trimming, we're doing a lot better and getting the boat to do what we'd like it to do.
How did it affect your rating?
Not very much. We went up a couple of clicks, but we already had. There's power in the keel, and there was powered winches in the pit. So the change to hydraulics didn't make that much difference. We're now fractionally over 2. I think I don't know if there's much further we can go. We're 2.006, I think. So it's we're not likely to threaten Matt Allen too seriously.
So you're just the speed machine, aren't you?
Yeah,
really?
that's right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got the company though, haven't you? You've got 4 others who are.
It's going to be a fantastic race this year. 500 footers on the line, and and really all of them, having been through some modifications this year, we've all been focusing on where we see our weaknesses and trying to improve the range of wind that we can perform in. And so I think we're seeing all 5 boats perhaps converging and making it a tighter race than it's ever been. And prospects for each one of us winning are, I think, pretty high. It's going to be not just weather dependent, it's going to be crew performance dependent and the decisions we make. So it makes for a very, very exciting race.
Is she lighter this year, or?
Is this boat lighter?
Yeah.
Yes, a little. Not significantly. I mean, we've lost 3 crew compared to our numbers last year. So when you count the water and the food and the safety gear, that's probably perhaps 500 or 600 kilos. So that's a difference. Where our sail selection will see us taking fewer sails, I think, than we did last year. We've done a lot of work on the crossover charts, and we think we've got sail selection down fairly tight now. So I think that'll be less weight that we have to carry. And with technology developments in sails, they're a bit lighter now than they were a couple of years ago. So that makes a difference too.
I must ask you the question. What were you actually feeling in the Derwent when Woxie came around behind you and went past you?
Well, it was pretty heartbreaking when we were both side by side there, having had 5 or 6 miles on them at Tasman Island. But really, that isn't where the damage was done. We covered 40 miles more than Wild Oats did on the way to Tasman Island, and we know why we did that. And there was a few errors in sail selection and angles. So this year we won't make that mistake. I don't think we'll ever run as deep as Oats can, just by virtue of the hull form.
Sure.
But I think we can probably halve the differential. So if we ran the same race again this year, then I'd see us 25 miles in front of them at Tasman Island rather than 5, and then the rest wouldn't matter so much.
Well, yours is a family affair, isn't it, really? You've got your son and daughter with you?
Always has been. The whole family's been sailing together ever since we've had boats, which was before some of them were born. But as they've grown and as we've done more and more racing, then we've done it all together. And there's 3 of them on board today. Douglas is not old enough to do this race, so he's in the wings for the next time. But James and Julia are in the team and have been sailing together, and that's why I do it. It's not Dad's thing that they tag along. I'm only heavily involved in racing because we can do it together as a family. It's something we all love doing and get a lot of enjoyment and a lot of shared memories out of it.
I was asking Coco the other day, why did all the 100-footers, sort of end up in Australia, for heaven's sake? It's quite an interesting situation, isn't it, really?
It's a very interesting situation. I think we have more opportunity to use them here. We've done all the blue water point scores. There's no reason why you can't do them in 100. Harbour racing's a bit tight in 100-footer. You run out of runway very quickly. But really, all the coastal races, which we've done all of this year, great fun in 100. And I think it's a healthy thing for Australian sport to see all the 100s resident here. I don't think there's a demographic issue or any deeper meaning behind it, other than we've got good conditions for fun sailing here.
Well, it certainly gives a spectacle for Boxing Day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a great spectacle on Boxing Day to see. But there's not just the 100s, of course. There's a good contest in the 60-70 foot range this year. There's hot contests in the 50 range. There's all those 10 or more 52s, and then the Cooksons, and it's really very exciting. And then where will the handicap trophy fall? Will it be the 40s, the 50s, the 70s? Unlikely to be us, as I said, but.
Never know. It's happened before, though, Jim.
It has happened before, absolutely. Yeah. And we've often been leading on IRC, but usually it doesn't
it's having a
finish
short time, yes. Well and truly.
Yeah.
So what about the crew? How many have you got, and where are they from?
Well, there's 18 in the crew. James and Julia, my children, as I said. Brad Jackson is my sailing master. Brad's done 4 or 5 laps in the Volvos. And at the back of the boat as well is Kelvin Harrop and Pablo and Johnny Hildebrand, Pablo Arate, who was on Mapfrey last year, and then further forward is guys that have been with the boat for quite some time, and Nick Burridge and Louis Sinclair and Justin Slattery on the bow.
Oh, Dougie's here, is he?
So there's, it reads like a who's who of Volvo and America's Cup, really.
Certainly does, yes, well and truly.
Kyle Langford and Tom Johnson in the middle from Jimmy Spittle's Cup team. So I think I'm probably the only one on the boat that hasn't won either an America's Cup or a Volvo race. So I'm in good company.
You're allowed to, mate. You're allowed to. You're the owner.
Yeah.
So how's Jimmy's elbow?
Oh, it's healing. It's not great. He has it in a brace at the moment, but he can't load it for another month or two. So that puts him out of the race. But we've got good depth of drivers. There's 7 or 8 good heavy weather drivers, counting myself. So we're pretty comfortable. I'll be starting the boat, which I've done in the past with all my boats. I didn't do it last year because 4 days was just not quite enough to get to grips with this machine in close quarters to the others. But this year we're happy with the preparation, and I'll be driving at the start.
Well, excellent. We'll be looking forward to seeing that on the harbour on Boxing Day. She looks in great condition, the boat.
Yes, it is. It's very well maintained. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't go into one of these campaigns and not expect that you need to do a lot of work on the boat to keep it looking good and to keep it in top maintenance condition. So yes, we do spend a lot of time. There's 2 or 3 guys that are pretty much full time over the last 6 months. So it takes a lot of work to keep them going.
All right, mate. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you starting the race, and we'll see you down in Hobart.
Excellent. All right. Thanks very much.
All the best for the race.
Merry Christmas. See you then.
You too.